Hello and welcome back to this second keynote of the Climate Transformation Summit. In a bit, I'm super honored to introduce you to Aida. But before I get her on stage, I want to give her a very warm welcome. I'm super excited to hear from her today more about the rising pressure on the financial side on climate risk and why companies have to bring up a holistic climate management. Aida is sustainability manager at the GLS Bank in Germany. And she is in particular responsible for the internal sustainability management. In that role, she has just recently co-published a report, which I found online. She can tell me a little bit more about it, about the evolution of sustainability reporting from ESG to impact measurement, which I found super interesting. She also has extensive experience in renewable energies from her time during the competence center at GLS Bank. And she knows a lot about the impacts banks, businesses, and the markets have in potentially shaping the future. So with these words, I'm gonna invite her on stage. Aida, how are you doing? You have to, that.
Great. Good morning. Thank you, Lara, for this kind introduction.
Yeah, thank you. I was really pleased to find that report, actually. I hope I quoted everything in the right way.
Yeah, I just grabbed it from behind. I have it there just to show you. It's really great. You know, Yvonne Zwick, she's at the Climate Transformation Summit as well. So we were really honored to talk about the integrated sustainability report of GLS Bank. So that's great. It's a really great lecture from all the other people who participated as well.
Yeah, we shortly went into it, I think, yesterday also with her in that panel that you really need new indications, so to say, as companies to like manage climate and report on it, and not only report but go into action. So I'm interested and curious to hear much more from your side on that topic. And I just want to make sure that everything works with sharing the slides. And if it does, then I'm gonna listen and hide from stage so that it's all yours.
The slides are on, I think.
Yes, perfect. It works.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here. See you again, Lara, in a few minutes. It will feel like a few minutes, I think. And hello, everyone. I hope you had a great day yesterday. I'm excited to start now, and I'll already planned with my coworker to binge watch all the panels and speakers that have already been here. So that will be exciting. Who needs Netflix? So I want to talk about the rising risk due to climate change, but I will want to leave you with more insights about opportunity, actually, and not so much about risks. Banks love to talk about risk because it's really important for them, right? They summarize all these really great companies in their own balance sheet, and therefore they see challenges really compromised. So we want to go into that, but also broaden the view. And I want to, I see some GLS Bank fans. That's so nice. I also want to give you some quality indicators for a sustainable climate management, which is really credible and authentic and successful. So it's more about these quality indicators, which I will show you, less about what GLS has done of it and with it. It's more the criteria that I really hope you will take away from this. So why are these quality indicators relevant? Because they will show us different aspects of really good climate or in general sustainability management, which you can apply to your own climate management, but also look into other climate management of your bank, for example, or other companies you work with to really challenge their approach. And first off, I want to look in the social and ecological context, which is quality indicator number 1. And I really mean science by that. So let's look at the global scale, which is happening since 1950s. It's really an explosion on socioeconomic trends and also Earth system trends. We see ocean acidification, shrimp aquaculture, fertilizer consumption, all these different aspects which are really exploding since then. You can see it. And it's really an overload and also an overstretch on these planetary systems, but also on society we have. And it's called the Great Acceleration. And it's not great in terms of super nice, but in terms of really big and frightening. And it's also the day which started the man-made activities, not the man-made activities, but mad. So that's the overall situation we are in, right? And I want to go further and introduce the donut economy. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've not. So that will be a short introduction on how we as GLS Bank use it and why it's important. It's not only about climate change, which you can see on the top, right? It's about so many other planetary boundaries we are facing. So we have limited resources that we all know, but we also have these social foundations which are in the middle of the donut. So there we have to honor them, because otherwise the system will crumble in itself. And also we have to respect the planetary boundaries and the budgets and threshold that come with them to not overshoot the system. We just had Earth Overshoot Day, right? So within those boundaries and honoring those social foundations, we have the donut shape, which is just a simple ring. But it's called the donut for a reason, because it's combining these two approaches, the planetary boundaries as well as a social foundation. And Kate Raworth came up with it and designed it, basically. So we can really use it for the safe and just room. It's green here. And we as a society are there, but not only the society, but the economy we use and create, right? So the economy has to stay in between those boundaries as well. And we can see our different sectors GLS finances and invests in. We just put them there. So it's our design of the donut. And really look into if these different sectors are honoring these planetary boundaries and also the social foundations, which are justice, peace, and so on. So this is really the basic foundation. It's science-based because you can see the red color. This often comes from the IPCC, and they tell us, hey, are these boundaries respected or overstretched? So it's really important to look at those and also to discuss what are social foundations, what is just in terms of corporate environments, what kind of gender pay gap are you living and offering? It's all these different factors we have to discuss and talk about to put them into really our measuring and then our company steering as well. So that being said, I want to put another little aspect of the social and ecological context there for you. Maybe you've already heard it. I assume you did, but just to go over it very quick. I love that people are setting science-based targets for 2050, for example. But my first question would be, is your pathway 1.5 degree aligned? Or is it, for example, 4 degree aligned? That's an important question because there the context is important and will fill in. And so you really see how credible this target is and if it's really science-based in terms of the path to get to that net zero point. And now you will see the most complicated slide of all. It will get easier after this, trust me. It's important to see the actual impacts, which are the nominator, And the normative impacts, which are budgets, for example, the 1.5 degree budget, the CO2 budget, which lays behind this, this math, to put it in the denominator. Why? Because I cannot tell if a company that is reporting their 248,000 tons of carbon they have been emitting, if that is aligned with the 1.5 degree goal of Paris. Can you? I assume you cannot. So that is why this is so important to see this in relation to the whole global budget, which is then seen in different sectors. So we're talking about the thresholds of the planetary boundaries, but also we have to allocate them to really see if our company is in alignment with that, if the way we are working and living is really working, or if we're just looking at nice numbers and nice years we want to be net zero. And then maybe we're compensating and offsetting just to get there. So that will be the worst. So this is why my first quality indicator is social and ecological context. Yes, thank you so much, Bernd Dinkel, for putting that in the chat. You will see that in a different slide as well. That's great. Thank you so much for your help. So the second quality indicator is materiality. Why is that? Because Lara said and showed us the scope 3 emissions, right? So we can look at scope 1 and 2 and say we are net zero, but the real work lays in scope 3, right? So we have to check with double materiality. Just to make it easy what that concept is all about, we have that outside-in perspective from the company or bank, for example. You can see it on the lower side of the slide, which is the impact of the company on nature and people. That has been there for many years, and this is often used and needed in reporting standards, so GRI and other ones. But really important now is to look at the outside-in perspective as well. Oh, I just changed it, right? The inside-out perspective is from the company to the environment and people as well, not only environment. And the outside-in perspective is the impact of nature and people. So this is financially material, and the other one, the inside-out one, is impact material. So this is why it's called double material. But we have to look at that the company's impact can also be financially material. Everything can be financially material. This is what climate risks and sustainability risks are all about. They are financially material to every company and every bank. So, for example, if you're a 4-degree company and your employers don't want to work with you anymore, and you won't get any of the Fridays for Future generation because that's not aligned with their values, you really have a transition risk there applying because of your own doing. So that will be financially risky for you, right? If you don't get any new employers. So floods, war, droughts, injustice, everything, this will also fill in with the outside-in perspective you see above. And now the question is, can we only, or should we only avoid risks, but can we also use this positive and active force and energy for the transformation for a livable and lovable future? You see above, on the right side, 2 options. You see war, injustice, pollution, or below, you see a pretty nice world, right? It looks sympathetic and really likable. So this materiality challenges us to look where the most leverage is we have as a company or as an individual, and to start right there. Now I want to talk about ambition and position. It's a hard change for companies and banks. There's a lot to do. But the main question is, what is your ambition and what is your position you use to face them? How do you look at this? Is it an opportunity for you, or is it just a challenge and risks you're not being able to sleep anymore because of it? So GLS Bank has always had the investments and loan principles, which are a basic framework for us to work, right? If we are getting a loan request, we can look at the different business activities and if we want to support them or not. It's pretty black and white, but also a great help and first filter for our daily activities. So this means we are declining a lot of loan and investment requests we get. We are constantly saying no to earnings which destroy the planet and its people. Sounds pretty good and pretty easy, but not a lot of banks do that. Not a lot, I can tell you. And furthermore, we wanted to know what is also needed and requested by our stakeholders. So we did a materiality analysis using the double materiality. And I want to go on about what came out of it, what we used it for. So here you see an ambition science-based target of ours. We started 2019, I think, with the target of 1.5 degree compatibility of the investment and loan portfolio, so everything a bank does, basically, and also for the operational emissions, which are basically scope 1 to scope 2 and a little bit of 3. But the main factor and the main attention I want here to bring on the investment and loan portfolio, which is just scope 3, right? So we set this target, which science-based XDC, it's the X degree compatibility, and really used that to set up a climate management. And you can see the guidelines we started to write, the measures we started to take, and also the reporting, which really helped for that. For example, the TCFD. And this really helps to put an overall view on it. It brings the context factor of the 1.5 degree, so we can talk in planetary boundaries and not only in tons of carbon. It includes materiality, right? Because it's our main leverage we have as a bank. And it really brings up our ambition and position by setting this goal to 2023. And we actually accomplished the 1.5 degree compatibility with the loan portfolio for 3 years now, 3 years in a row, and also the same with the operational emissions. The investment portfolio is quite difficult, to be really honest, because it's not only because it's some different funds, right? We have to look at the climate fund, the Aktienfonds, we call it. So we have different funds. We have to go through each single one. It's much more difficult than just looking at one loan portfolio with just companies in Germany. So this is the work we are still doing because of setting this goal and this target. I want to go further to a different quality factor because we have 2 left. It's called integration. So I'm asking you, what sense does it make that companies are publishing their yearly financial report and then maybe they're already doing a sustainability report as well? So why 2 different reports? It doesn't make any sense. And we are always talking about just numbers and on the other hand, emissions. So we really have to combine, because money is really the pathway for or against those emissions. And integrated reporting on how the company cash flow did or did not contribute to a fair and safe environment is crucial here, right? So the same integration is needed beforehand in decision-making and other processes. And we are seeing different regulations aiming for exactly that, which is so nice to see. They are lacking sometimes a little bit of ambition and position, They have to look at quality indicator 3. Maybe we can tell them. Or maybe some people are here, but that's the basic idea behind it. Behind it is really great because it's forcing integration of these different factors. You can see it on the right hand, it's integrated reporting and new disclosure requirements. On the bottom, it's the integration on sustainability risks and the risk diversification, but also the risk management, right? So controlling has a lot of work to do now. And integrated sustainability target, controlling, and strategy, which I just showed you with one example. This all helps to further push integration. And the last one, I really love this one. It's so basic, but there's a great lack of it in the world, transparency. So transparency is key for credibility, right? Especially in terms of greenwashing. So this also invites, which we really love, stakeholders to remind us to stay true of our ambition and position. They are the greatest external audit you can get. So they talk about your challenges and approaches and even write about it, as I just showed you. You can see here different kinds of reportings or books or our sustainability report. You can really dive into that. And what I can also recommend is that we are publishing every corporate loan as a bank. So this is great news, but sadly other banks don't do it. So I invite everyone to do it as well. So corporate loans, you can quite easily publish them if you want. And this is crucial for the ambition and position part, right? If you want, you can do it, but most banks don't want that. So you can look what your money does if you put it on your current account. You can look what your money is doing or is not doing, and we invite you to check that list thoroughly and tell us if there's something you don't want your bank to do. And I brought a tip, but Bernd Dinkel already helped me to put that link in the chat, so that's lovely. I can really recommend the SDPI, Sustainability Development Performance Indicators, because they have a great science-based and context approach. Yes, we are applying a few of them already and working on applying more of them. So that's really about it. So it's not only about risks, it's more about the opportunity to create a livable and lovable future and to really join forces to do that. Be honest with yourself and others to just really push your ambitions so we can all have a brighter future ahead. Thank you so much. Now I'm really excited if you have any questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aida. It always takes me a little bit to come back on stage. It's like walking up here. I have to click a lot. Yeah, thanks. There is the audience virtual applause. I think that was quite a lot of knowledge and like very motivatingly shared. There are actually a lot of questions, but we also kind of have to jump to our next session. So if you are up for it, what I would invite is maybe that people write you a personal message, which is possible here on top. Or also you could make out lunch dates later and meet you in the lounge on a coffee table. So maybe that is something who sends Aida a message that you can find a time where you can speak with those people, because there are a lot. I think specifically on double materiality.
It's so hard. I was so glad I did a good job on that word.
We have to find it shortening, I guess. On scope 3, on motivating and rising awareness. So there are a lot of questions. And so my question would be, Aida, do you think there would be a possibility to meet you later at a table? Do you have time?
Yeah, I'm trying really hard, but I've already seen some people check up on LinkedIn. That's lovely as well. But I will try to get to a table. Let's do that.
So first thing is write Aida a personal message here in the tool. She is around, and then you can organize how to clarify all these questions. So thanks a lot for these insights, and I think you perfectly set the scene. I also loved you mentioned TCFD that we had yesterday also in the main panel. So like really the driving force for from the task force on non-financial disclosure around climate relevant data. And yeah, I think now in the main panel, we're going to go into what all these regulations and challenges to be transparent also mean for the supply chain. So very much invite you to see you there virtually as well. So first of all, thank you from my side for bringing the mission forward, also in an industry where you wouldn't have thought that maybe 10 years ago, and being one of the innovators bringing climate actions to the market.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a great day. I will be around.
See you then later.
Bye.
And for everyone else, we switch. Bye-bye.
Bye.